Hello, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Brawlcasters. I'm James. That's Alex, bringing our combined 50 years of martial arts experience to the internet to call some of the craziest fights. Wearing some really spectacular merch, I must say. Alex rocking the short sleeve rash guard. I've got our dry fit on. So if you want any of this drip, as the kids would say. Did that hurt when I said that, Alex?
A little bit. That was your kids. If they watch this episode, you're like,
damn. Well, listen. I mean, as a father, that's what you live to do: is embarrass your children. If you raised your children, you would know this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're probably out there somewhere living great lives. If you're out there, guys, I sent the presents. Your mom just hates me.
It's worth noting that we don't actually know that Alex has kids out there. He surmises it's possible, but we don't actually know that Alex has kids out there. Anyway, as I was saying, if you want some of this merch, you can find the link down below where you can get some of this and more of the spectacular merch. Bro, we got socks now. We got the Hoochie Daddy shorts. We talked about the Hoochie Daddy shorts. I made the Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Holy shit.
And zip up, 4 colors. 4 colors in the zip up. Black, army green, sky blue, and red. Gorgeous. Gotta get it. So this is kind of like a special episode that we're filming today. So full disclosure, most of the fights that we watch on this channel, we watch for the first time with you guys as we are recording them. This fight was a little more personal. This fight was a flex fight, quite honestly. And it was on a card that we do not do commentary for. The January card got split into 2 because we had so many fights booked. So for the card they booked second, the Friday night card, they had other commentators for that because they wanted to save us for the international broadcast because, we're just high level like that. We almost made it to that laughing, Alex. But nonetheless, this fight was one that we were looking forward to because we knew both gentlemen competing in it. This fight being Pat Chigoli versus Dylan Conti. Both guys were really, really familiar with. Why don't you start by talking about Pat a little bit, Alex, because I know you know him very well.
Yeah. So I've known Pat 5 years now. Back when he was the adult slayer. That's how long ago I know him. I was one of the first people to interview him when he was just tearing up the jiu-jitsu scene. He got infamous for ripping guys' legs and just destroying dudes in competitions. And he was always high level. He's gonna get some of the best in the world. Max Hansen, Pat Downey. He's who's who. He's fought him at that heavyweight bracket.
Mason Fowler, I know he competed against.
Fowler, he's a dog, dude, and really sweet guy. He's from 10th Planet, East Long Island, so we have that 10th Planet to 10th Planet bond. Been cool forever. He hit me up asking for this fight after he got called out by the fighter that I'll let you introduce in a second.
So on the other end of the fight was Dylan Conti. Dylan we know well because he was an intern for Flex for quite a while. And Dylan is a kid who has a dream, like for sure has a dream of being a fighter. And he trained in karate as a kid, which is cool, wrestled in high school. And Dylan never really afraid to put himself out there, almost to his own detriment sometimes, unfortunately. He bites off a lot, hoping that he can chew it. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work out for him. When he turned 18 and graduated high school, we knew fighting was something he really, really wanted to do. And we're like, cool, who are you training with? And he told us, and we're like, no, that's a bad idea. Treating that guy as your coach is not going to take you very far, unfortunately.
Yeah, what show was it? I think it was a Queen's show, maybe?
Yeah, because we talked with him at Melrose Ballroom.
It was Melrose Ballroom.
You know what? We're telling the story a little out of order. Because he had that kickboxing fight before Melrose Ballroom. Remember that first kickboxing fight he had?
So he was 18, you're right.
He had that first kickboxing fight.
Yep.
And then had a kickboxing fight. It did not go his way. Made some excuses after the fight that hard to tell what was truth, what wasn't. But either way, we all watched the fight and we saw how it went. And there were no excuses for how the actual fight went. And then he jumped into an MMA fight, accepted one with a world-class competitor in jiu-jitsu and a guy named Mike Ruxon.
Yeah, so after he jumped in is when we had the conversation.
Yes. When he announced that fight is when you and I talked to him. We're like, bro, this is a bad idea. Like, A, Dylan as kindly as possible, you're not really a heavyweight. You have body fat and a ton of it. And if you're really serious about fighting, you shouldn't be fighting at heavyweight. You should be fighting the weight first, getting yourself down where you belong. Because realistically, you're like a 170 or maybe at best 185. If we're being real generous in weight, but you're not even like built to really fight at 185. 170 is probably your best, but you probably could. Conceivably, he could have even gotten down to like maybe even 155.
Yeah, we talked to him. We said get 185 should be your, for your first few kickboxing. I'm not mad at 185.
Exactly.
Then work to 170, but get out of that heavyweight bracket.
Yeah, and that's what we were telling him. Like, we had a real impassioned conversation with him, about it and how important that was for him. No, oh my gosh, we're forgetting a whole other thing. I apologize. We're forgetting about the grappling match at Flex.
Grappling match
happened after the kickboxing match. So it was kickboxing match, then it was jiu-jitsu match, then it was the Mike Rockshon fight. Because the grappling match, that was the fight where I exploded my suit pants.
That was in Selden, you're right.
Yes. So so I exploded my suit pants at the commentary table because my foot got caught on a piece of duct tape that was taping wires together. I went to pull my foot away and I exploded my suit pants. So I had to go in the back and change. And Dylan had just lost a grappling match that he grappled at heavyweight. And again, grappled a monster who was like 6'5", and Dylan's like 5'8". So we talked to him, and I had a really kind conversation with him where I was like, Dylan, you should be focused on getting down in weight before you're focused on fighting. Then he took the fight with Mike Rockshon. And that's when we saw him at Melrose. And he came up, he's like, oh, you didn't even say hello. And I was like, that's because I don't really have much nice to say to you. Because I gave you advice from a very candid place and a very kind place, and you didn't take it. And then we spoke with him pretty sternly about, like, this is not what you should be doing. And he went...
We also gave him a coach to go to.
Yeah, we gave him a coach to go to, which for whatever reason that didn't happen. I don't really know why. I think Dylan... It didn't come together. I don't remember the specifics as to how. Then in the lead up, Dylan was talking a mile of shit. A mile. And
He talks great shit.
yeah, he really does. Like, bro, you would think this man is Mike Tyson, the way he talks. And so he gets into this fight with Mike Rockshon. And to the point where, like, I was worried that Mike was, like, gonna, like, hurt him from all the stuff he was gonna say. And Mike, to his credit, kind of stuck to his word. And he just kind of played with Dylan and felt out the stand up for 2 rounds, and then took him down and used his signature submission to submit him.
Yeah,
The camel crusher, he calls it.
Camel crush?
Yeah, he calls it the camel crusher. It's a scarfold.
Yeah.
So again, after the fight, we're like, Dylan, you need to stop fighting. That didn't happen. He then went and trained with Pat for a little while, and maybe you could speak to what happened there.
Yeah, so actually, he trained with Pat way before this.
Okay.
Yeah, so they trained together. Pat was his coach for a little bit. He trained very briefly at 10th Planet, East Long Island, and not to get into too much of the drama there, but there was a falling out. There was, what was it? Yeah, it was a debacle about a Blue Belt.
Yeah.
And somebody self-promoted and all that stuff. I'm not gonna put any businesses out there, but it was a whole back and forth between the camps. There was just bad blood involved, and essentially, they ended up saying, okay, so let's do an MMA fight. This was the fight afterwards where Stephen Kelly, I believe.
Yes.
His name? Yeah, Stephen Kelly, who's actually a student of Pat, then fought Dylan, and he choked him out in less than a round.
It was an Americana. It was in less than a minute.
Americana?
Yeah, Americana.
So he submitted him, in less than a round. And that just added fuel to the fire. And then, honestly, I know a lot of people gave us flack for building this fight. I helped put this fight together, and you guys will see some of the promo in a second. But I will also be very honest. Both fighters hit me up. Dylan, who I'm cool with. Pat, who I'm cool with. Both hit me up. Said, hey, Alex, I know you're a big part of Flex. Please tell them we both want this fight. Now, one thing I really love, all right? Pat is a world-class jiu-jitsu athlete. World-class jiu-jitsu athlete. And hats off to Pat. He's gotten in incredible shape. We talked about it a little bit. Getting into shape, working on stuff like that. He's lost a lot of that, like, younger weight. And now he's turned into muscle, and had that experience of beating up grown men for years now.
Yeah.
Genuinely. And he said, I want to turn it to Muay Thai. Instead of MMA, where he felt like he had this severe advantage, he turned it into Muay Thai, which isn't his art.
Yeah.
And he put together a good camp, worked hard with guys that we've had at Flex before, and Miguel Correa worked with him, Christopher Van Dunk worked with him, his dad, Chris Shigoli. A lot of guys put in real work into this training camp. I think it was almost a 2-month training camp, or a month and a half, something like that, of getting the kinks out and getting comfortable now on your feet after 10, 12 years as a jiu-jitsu athlete.
Yeah. And specifically as an athlete who was known for his leg entries. So it's not even like he's a big, like, hand fighting, get chest to chest, and, like, that kind of fighting. Go.
I will say, to your point, yes, but in the last 2 years he has developed a great wrestling game.
True. But I'm just saying his claim to fame was diving under people in Minari rolls, grabbing hold of legs. Yeah. So, like, that's not, like, his specialty is about as far from striking in jiu-jitsu as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
So, and Dylan, to his credit, seemed like he was exercising quite a lot. Seemed like he lost some weight for this fight. But Dylan's biggest issue, and we've talked to him about it many times, is that Dylan needs a real camp around him before he really should be fighting. And he was putting up some videos of him doing stuff to work, like, training at a gym, working. He did some things that I was like, this doesn't really make much sense. You're training for a Muay Thai fight. Like, there's one thing he put up, like, he put up a video of him, like, kneeling on the ground and, like, doing ground and pound on a Thai pad. I'm like, that's cool and all, but you're training for a Muay Thai fight. And, like, another video of him, like, practicing sprawls on a Swiss ball, which, again, cool and all, and, like, a great workout, but not really preparing you for a Muay Thai fight. But again, that's just an absence of a head coach. That's the absence of a coach who really knows what he's doing, who's really there to prepare an athlete for a fight.
Yeah, guide you.
Yeah. And, leading into the fight, a mile of shit is talked by both guys. Dylan got a little more personal, I believe. You might know better than I do in that regard.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat all those things. I will say some lines were crossed. And when there's already bad blood and lines get crossed, well, I mean, I'm not, with no further ado, I think this is what happened.
Yeah. So we're going to lead you guys in with some weigh-in videos. We have the weigh-ins that Flex took, the video Flex took. We have the video that Pat took on his meta glasses. And then we have the fight itself. So with that being said, let's jump to it in 3 and 2 and 1.
Special. Some have called it the people's main event.
Hold on, put me on camera. This is the people's main event. Okay, originally I didn't want to book this fight. Then the people asked for this fight, and now it's the biggest fight on the card. Everybody's crazy about it. I went live yesterday. You guys went crazy in the comments.
Not like John Matos hasn't been loving everything we've been doing with Brawlcasters. Shout out to John Matos. Gotta love him.
Let's work.
We got a specialty belt in the heavyweight Muay Thai division. Let me get
Yeah, that's Rick the Regulator, Rick the Stick. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So this angle is not going to give us the best on the audio that they're saying back and forth. But we'll see a little bit better, and we'll hear a little bit better about this in the next clip. See right there, Dylan says he's like a scouser and doesn't get knocked out. Though I might remind him to look at his first kickboxing fight when he got dropped with a punch in under seconds.
You're talking too much. He's talking too much. Look, his shoulder's hurting. Shoulders gonna slap you, bro. Tomorrow I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna come to you. You think it's active?
So there's something that's cut off in this video that comes back in the other clip. That's honestly, it's pretty comedy gold, and I'll give Goop credit for it.
This is a grown man sport. There's a little kid over here. Look at this. Look at that.
See right there, that got cut off, and we'll see it in the meta glasses. And So recently, Goop won a thing where he was the BMF of grappling, and yes, here's the meta glasses.
It's that time.
Perspective of the same thing.
Say whatever you want to say.
So it's worth noting
brother.
that Pat did
Time
edit
tomorrow.
this.
You're talking too much.
You're not head kicking me, bro.
Huh?
You're not head kicking me, bro.
Who said it was a head kick? Who said it was a head kick?
I don't get fucking knocked out.
So
Oh my God.
two things. Dylan said that you're not head kicking me, bro. I'm like a scouser. I don't get knocked
You're
out.
scared. You're gonna cry. Literally, you're gonna cry, bro.
Not us doing this, guys.
Here. I'm not gonna touch him. I swear. Look, his shoulder's hurting. Shoulders, I'm gonna slap you, bro. Tomorrow I'm gonna punch you. You don't know what's gonna come to you. You think it's a head kick? Right here. Boom. This is a grown man sport. This is a little kid over here. Look at this. Look at that.
He just jiggled.
Flex fights on top, baby. Pass the ball.
And Tiger's almost like
Let's go.
Zach
Come
Mastella.
on. Let's go. Yeah, come on. Let's go. You scared, bro. You scared, bro. Guys, I got some.
Here we actually have the
thing about this, like I said, we see someone that's been experienced in the ring, you know, even though he hasn't won, but he's tested his chin. He knows what he can take and what he can dish out.
So I believe that I cut the video where the walkout's still about to happen, because it's worth seeing the walkout, just to see the crowd.
In the first 10 seconds.
His style
And
is called
yeah,
standing
so
on business.
Mario dos Santos
Business,
and
he's about to
Biash.
bring. Back to Reed for our red corner fighters.
Gosh. So there's Dylan walking into the cage.
Now introducing his opponent, please help me welcome Pat Shirko.
Pat Shigoli.
Bro.
Pat MF Goop Shigoli. Another young fighter, 19 years old, standing 5'11", so he would be the taller fighter, and out of
Yeah,
Reed,
and my man's
New
got a
York,
voice on him.
representing 10th
Keep your
Planet
girlfriends
East
away from the
Long
screen
Island.
when Reed's talking.
My hometown Anne Ronkonkoma love to see it, and he's trained by Chris Shiguli. You gotta expect at least that they're related by some means.
You know, I think
The one
Pat
thing
took
Biash
this
a
fight
little
camp very
disappointed in him
serious.
right there.
I was at his
Didn't
gym
know that
last
Chris
week.
Shigoli was
He
Pat
had,
Shigoli's
a
father.
tournament. He had a TAP tournament. He hosts once a month. And honestly, he competed himself.
That's his
And watching his
That
cardio,
seems like something you should know.
he is ready.
Your next match is a one-time bout between two warriors in the heavyweight division. Brought to you by Larry Flynn's Hustlers.
By the way, this video a little small because of how I had to crop it in order to get everything to fit in the screen. So, yeah, we have many more angles, don't you worry. Many more angles.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the real BMF.
So,
Mr. Bullshit.
Dylan insisted on being introduced as the real BMF to kind of like try to steal Pat's thunder from the BMF thing that he just won.
Fighting the Queens Get the Money New York.
Yeah.
Representing Technically East Long Island. Ladies
Yeah, there's very few nicknames Reed has said no, I won't read that.
and the Goop Shirkoni.
But I mentioned it a million times in the broadcast.
Side on this one.
You're talking about Big Dick Willow, right?
We got a brown belt in jiu-jitsu taking on a black
I remember
belt
Big
in
Dick Willow. That's my favorite.
So
I
you
love
know
Big
we're
Dick
about
Willow.
to see
This
the
sweet
leather
Canadian girl
swing.
who
No hands
who
touch. Pat always being respectful,
awesome
like
fighter.
your hand touch.
Big Dick Willow. I forget Big
Dylan
Dick
denied
Willow's
it.
last name, but
This is
she's like, most
Pat
promotions don't say it. I'm like, no,
Shigoli.
I will
He's 2-1
get as much leverage out
in
of this
Abu
as I
Dhabi
can.
Combat Club,
great.
however, and competed in the trials back in November.
Dylan with the first
Yeah.
strike. Ooh.
Boom, and then
Like a
What a head kick! Oh! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Wow!
so now we're gonna see this from a bunch of different angles,
That will do it!
and you
In
will
the
see the
very
importance
first round,
of having a
Pat
good coach and good training.
Shiguli knocks
'Cause
out
the-
Dylan Conti.
The opening that led to that
Oh
kick
my God!
is simply
He's
a
out
matter
cold.
of just bad
Oh
training.
my God! Dylan Conti
rather, a
is
lack of
out
training.
cold.
Pat Shiguli, right in front of us, just gave us one of the best knockouts that we have seen here at Flex Fight. And how
Okay, so there's
do
the
you
leg
start
kick.
off
And now watch. See,
2026?
Goop saw the
He
hands
went
drop and the leg kick was
yesterday.
thrown.
He
So
said,
just
"I
the
will
next
win
kick
first
high,
round."
and that was it. Now this video, I think you took this video, hence the 90-degree turn, because you're not a savage. You filmed No, listen, you film things portrait, which is the right way. And there's the knockout. And then we get... Yeah. Now, what's interesting here that you can notice, Goop reached for a glove touch. Dylan's like, nah. But Dylan was the one who said the more egregious stuff. So, I mean, I guess he's trying to live the gimmick.
Let's go, Pat!
But I will say, like,
Dale pues!
that's probably the worst.
Yeah, that one. You see his head snap back like a Pez dispenser. He caught Dylan perfect, right under the chin. This is the flex highlight here. Boom, and then just... That's aggressive.
I know somebody in the comments, but you guys are bullying the kid. We're not. Just because we're so attached to this fight, we knew both guys really well. And again, those conversations of explaining to somebody like, hey, this is a bad idea. And then seeing it live with somebody that took the time, put in the training, you know, there was bad blood involved, and put in also like the physical work, got even better in shape, took this seriously, and delivered. He said, I'm not going to go in there and play with you. I'm going to show you the difference. And he showed him.
And not only that there's consequences for things that you say. You know, and we've talked about it many times, the importance of having a real true coach. Having your buddy who kind of knows some stuff and maybe has stepped into some fights that he's lost a bunch of times to corner you, like, that's not the guy. That's not the guy. Like, we've connected him with some very good coaches who are willing to open up their gym to them, their team to him, to be like, here, come on, like, let me mentor you. And he just never took that step.
I mean, I'm also going to be honest. When he told me about the Mike fight, I even said, hey, man, come through. I'll show you some basics. I'm not going to do your whole camp. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have the time. I also don't have the investment to just give out free lessons like that. I'm sorry. But I said I will let you come in for one day, and we will work basics, and I'll teach you drills you can even do on your own to improve a lot of your basic stuff, your fundamental stuff. We can just work on that. I don't need you learning all the crazy stuff. It's going to be, fundamentals.
Yeah.
Those fundamentals will go far for you.
Yeah, and I was going to do similar for him. I was going to connect him with one of my employees, the one who bought me that sick tie that I wore at the flex show, by the way. That employee of mine, Adam. I was going to have him go with Adam. Adam's right around his age, right around his size. Adam's very good fundamentals, which is let him do some rounds with Adam. And Adam would have given him really, really good work. And had the other coach who, I don't know if we want to put him out there like that, but the other coach that had offered up, like, listen, come in. I'll let you go a couple rounds with one of my students, and he's not super experienced, but whatever. Like, if after that round I feel you're ready for the fight, then we'll go forward and I'll coach you. If after those I feel like you're not ready, then you should need to listen to me and pull out of the fight. And again, for whatever reason, that didn't materialize. Had that offer not been put on the table, I was going to offer the same thing with Adam, and Adam was willing to help me to do it.
Yeah, it sucks. And this is not to put Dylan down again. He's a good kid. When you see him, I saw him the next day, and I was like, "Hey, man, you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, buddy. Like, did you get a wake-up call from that?" And he's like, "I think if we run it back, I think I can beat him." And I was like, "All right, buddy."
See, and again, that speaks to not having a good coach, because a good coach would be able to tell you, no, you didn't have him. Like I lost my kickboxing debut, and that same guy went back and he fought one of my teammates a couple cards later, and my coach said to me after, he's like, no, he goes, that was just the first time you were in the ring. He goes, I know how good you are. You could have beat that guy 2 months ago when you fought him. Today, 2 months later, you'd kill him. You'd beat him way worse than that guy Corey just beat him. But my coach was real with me. Then there were other fights where it's like, no, don't run that one back. That one, you're good enough. You're good enough.
Yeah, it happens like that. It is what it is. There's some of my matches where my coach would tell me the same thing. Like, yo, I think you beat him. You run it back with him. Like, you guys are evenly matched. He did a little more. And there's other ones where they're like, nah, bro. Nah,
Yeah.
I don't do that match. And even my coach, he, shout out to Ray. Ray's told me a few times, like, Alex, don't take that match.
Yeah.
Guy, you're not ready for that match. And I'm like, shit. And
See,
I
but
don't do that.
that's a good coach. A good coach will tell you the truth. He will tell you the truth in a way that you can absorb it.
Yeah.
Like there are some.
I'll be honest. It was Chronic Combat. I was doing Chronic Combat. I was doing commentary. Somebody pulled out, and then we had John Vanna ready to compete. John Vanna is a really good. At the time, he was a really good brown belt. Now he's a really good black belt. I was still, blue belt. So I was like, you know what? I'll run it with him. I don't mind. And instantly, Ray goes, no. I was like, but the event. He goes, fuck the event. No.
Yeah.
That's not a good match for you.
100%. That's a good coach. That's a good coach. Like I said, if I have to corral some of the kids in my school, I know them, and I know, like, it's fine. I don't have to corral the adults. The adults know what's up. Like, but like if I need to check one of the kids in my school for their attitude, for their mouth, for whatever, I know who to talk to, how. You know what I mean? Like there's some kids I gotta yell at. Like, there's other kids I don't. That I just need to like. I'll tell you quick aside. I have this little boy, I call him Clark Kent. He's got the big dark rim glasses, really good kid, just well behaved, awesome. Every now and again, Clark Kent, like a normal 7-year-old boy, just puts a toe over the line. Just gets a little bit playful, a little bit too goofy in class. And I don't call him Clark Kent. I refer to him by his real name. And the second I say his real name, snaps into focus. I don't have to yell at all. I just say his real name. And the second I say his real name, he knows I mean business.
That's respect. I think all we're trying to get through you guys is get in a real gym, get real training, get a real coach. I know it's exciting. You want to fight, you want to compete, but to compete and be the best you can, you need to do those things.
Exactly. You could buy all the Brawlcasters merch that you want, and please do. But that alone will not be enough to get you to truly be built to brawl.
Yeah, we'll get you 2% better, but
Exactly. At least 2% better. I mean, there's
again, you do fight night.
exactly. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
All right, you gotta at least get the rest of everything there, and then afterwards. But
Yeah. So let this be a lesson. Hopefully, Dylan watches this and he knows that this is coming from a place of tough love, but love, where this went wrong because you didn't have a coach, because you didn't have a team behind you, because you didn't have a gym. Listen, if I was gonna prep for a match or a tournament, and I am a professional coach, that is what I do for a living. I have hundreds of people that attend to train with me week by week by week. That's what I do. I train other trainers. I'm at that level, right? I would not train myself for a match. If I was going to prepare for a match, I would not design my own training.
no.
I wouldn't do it.
You need that person from the outside perspective, right? You need that person to tell you where you're messing up, where you're doing this wrong, what you need to focus on. That outside voice means a lot, guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it gets underrated, and a lot of times people see, somebody like that's against the norm, and they go, "Oh, that's gonna be me too," and it's like, probably not.
Yeah.
That's a one-off. It's an anomaly. Everybody's not an anomaly. Everybody's not Neo in the Matrix. Sometimes you're like Morpheus. You're just a regular guy trying to get it done.
Yeah. And the reality is, when you look at it, there is not an athlete at the level that you respect who doesn't have a coach. Now, there are some guys who succeed outside of a big gym environment, like Stipe Miocic comes to mind. He does not have a superstar team, but he's got a coach, and that's
Yeah, coach. He also, not to be that guy, but when he fought the best in the world, unfortunately, he got outclassed.
yeah.
When he fought like John Jones, he got outclassed.
John Jones is also John Jones.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm using it as an example. Somebody like GSP, right? There's that iconic image when they look at GSP's corner, and they're like, holy shit. And you see what type of corner he had. Just look up his corner. You're going to be like, look up all those guys in his corner. You're going to be like, holy shit.
Exactly.
Corner. No wonder he had those insane runs.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor. The analogy I always go back to is, does a dentist drill their own teeth? A dentist does not drill their own teeth. They have their own dentist. Same thing. I think I could go far enough to call myself an expert in martial arts. I wouldn't coach myself. I wouldn't do it. It's not. No one is successful that does that. So
You might get one off, but
exactly. A broken clock is right twice a day. A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. So every once in a while, someone shucks the patterns and the stars align just right, and it happens. But it's such an anomaly that it shines through. Don't count on being an anomaly. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Instead, go back to what we know works. Have a coach. Have a team around you. Listen to the coach, even if they're not telling you what you don't want to hear. As a matter of fact, listen to the coach more when they're not telling you what you want to hear. Like, I may not tell my athletes every single thing they need to hear in exactly the moment they need to hear it, but I'm also not going to tell them what they want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's such a thing as like, okay, listen, I have 150 things I got to correct. And if I try to do that today, we are getting nowhere. So instead, I'm going to take 5 of those 150 things, and we're going to fix those 5 things today. And I'll focus on them until we have them. And then we'll work on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then when I'm done with those, then we'll get to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I know what they all are, but I'm not rushing into it. Nor am I saying like, oh, it's fine that like you still suck at that thing we've been working on for 4 months. Not going to do that either. Not going to do that either. But you know what you need to do? You need to subscribe. Subscribe. Like, comment, tell a friend, tell 5 friends. Really, tell 5 or 6 friends, honestly. Have them subscribe too. Make it like a pyramid scheme, right? They tell 5 friends, and then they tell 5 friends, and then they tell 5 friends. They all subscribe, they all like, they all comment, they all go and buy merch because they want the drip.
Listen, this is a rare episode, guys. We might do it again if another situation like this arises, but we want to do something special on this one.
Exactly. So, until next time, friends, brawl on.